You know, for Team USA, the World Baseball Classic, it's personal. After coming just one swing away from glory back in 2023, the mission for redemption starts right now. So let's break down their very first test, a super high-stakes opener against Brazil.
Just a few words, right? But man, they carry the weight of a 3-year wait. You can almost feel the electricity, the buzz in the air. Look, this is not just another game. It's the first chapter in a story that, let's be honest, the entire nation is hoping has a very, very different ending this time around.
So, to really get why there was so much pressure on this team from the very first pitch, we got to go back. That sting of defeat from 2023, it's like a ghost they're all trying to outrun.
And this timeline, it really puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? In 2023, they were one swing away. I mean, can you believe it? Mike Trout at the plate, the perfect storybook ending, just gone. That kind of heartbreak, it doesn't just go away. It hangs over every single at-bat, and it makes this first game feel less like just an opener and more like the first real step to finally putting that memory to rest.
So, how do you make sure that kind of heartbreak doesn't happen again? Well, Team USA's front office didn't just build a team. No, you assemble an absolute all-star squad. Let's take a look at the firepower they brought to this fight.
And loaded might be an understatement. Seriously, this isn't just a bunch of great players they threw together. It's a statement. By stacking the roster with some of the sport's biggest names, Team USA is sending a message to the entire world. We're not just here to compete, we are here to dominate.
And here's what makes this lineup just so dangerous. On one hand, you've got the raw, game-breaking power of a guy like Aaron Judge, who can literally end a game with one swing. And then you've got the crazy disruptive speed of Bobby Witt Jr., who can turn a simple walk into a serious scoring threat. For any opponent, that is a strategic nightmare.
Okay, so here's the thing. With all that star power, you'd think they'd just come out and roll over their opponents from the first pitch, right? Well, that's not exactly how their first test played out.
I mean, look, on paper, this should have been a cakewalk. Team USA, the star-studded favorite, up against a tough but pretty outmatched Brazilian squad. But somehow, through 4 really tense innings, the score was just 1-0. 1-0. The superstar lineup was grinding, they were struggling to find any rhythm, and you could just feel the pressure building with every single out. But then we get to the 5th inning, and this is where everything changed. Where a super tight, tense game gets completely blown wide open by one swing of the bat from, well, a pretty unexpected player.
You know, with the game being so close, this was the question on everyone's mind. Who was gonna be the guy? Which superstar was finally gonna step up and break this thing open and give Team USA the breathing room they were desperate for?
And it wasn't who you'd think. It wasn't the big slugger, Judge. It wasn't the speedster, Witt Jr. The answer? Brice Turang. In a lineup that is absolutely jam-packed with household names, it was the player very few people expected who delivered the biggest hit of the game.
And bam, there it is. Bases loaded, pressure is cranked up to a 10, Turang steps up and just smacks a double. 3 runs pour in. The whole dugout just explodes, you can feel the energy from the crowd. In one single swing, a nail-biter of a 1-0 game is suddenly a commanding 4-0 lead. Now that is how you break a game open. You see that hit from Turang? It was so much more than just 3 runs on the scoreboard. It was like the dam finally broke. You could almost physically feel the momentum shift, the tension just release, and the whole dynamic of the game changed in that one instant.
And with that, the rout was on. Finally, you could almost hear this huge collective sigh of relief from the entire team, from all the fans watching. After 4.5 innings of just grinding it out, the offensive floodgates were finally open. This was the powerhouse team everybody was waiting to see.
So, look, they got through their first test. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't easy, but they found a way to win, and win big. So that leaves us with the big question, right? Was this gritty, kind of tough, but ultimately explosive win? Was it a sign of what's to come? Is this the start of a dominant run that finally ends in redemption? I guess we'll have to wait and see.